The Mario series is home to some of gaming's most iconic power-ups ever. Considering the original Super Mario Bros. Was the first one to normalize power-ups across multiple titles, Mario games have created several unique power-ups, some cool, some useless, and some just really weird. Today, I'm gonna rank every power-up from the 2D Mario franchise based on how useful they are. I will eventually rank all the 3D Mario power-ups as well. I figured it made sense to split up the games since it can be hard to compare a 2D Mario power-up to a 3D Mario power-up, especially if they have the same function. Speaking of which, since each power-up's mechanics remain almost exactly the same throughout each of their appearances, I won't count each individual game's version of the power-up as individual ones. I also decided not to count Yoshi since he functions so differently from the rest of the power-ups and has different abilities across different games. Now without further ado, let's go. Number 24, Mini Mushroom. This power-up gets a bad rap. Don't get me wrong, it sucks. But you gotta admit the floatiness is kinda fun. Other than that, you die in one hit, have to ground pound enemies to hurt them, and have a much harder time controlling your movement. The only reason to use this power-up is for unlocking secrets, since you can run up walls or run on water to reach these tiny pipes you obviously can't go through as normal Mario. The Mario movie depicting this as a disadvantage to Mario in the DK fight sums up this power-up perfectly. Number 23, P-Balloon. Again, this is another power-up that is more of a disadvantage than anything else. I do believe people over-exaggerate just how bad this power-up actually is, but it's just not fun to control. Mario turns into a helium balloon, and you have to guide him through certain areas, and if you get hit once, you're kinda screwed. Once again, this power-up does nothing to benefit you whatsoever. Number 22, Star. A lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, but I don't think of the star as being that useful. All it does is grant you 10 seconds of invincibility, which in my opinion doesn't make the level that much easier. Then as soon as it's done, you go straight back to normal. I'd much rather take an extra hit point or an extra ability than 10 seconds of being unharmed. Number 21, Mushroom. The most basic and arguably most iconic Mario power-up. All it does is give you an extra hit point while also allowing you to break blocks. You don't get much from this one, but hey, it's better than nothing. Number 20, Super Ball Flower. This was Mario Land's version of the Fire Flower, and it was awkward to say the least. Aiming with it is absolutely atrocious. Whoever at Nintendo was playing Pong one day and just went, "Genius!" Yeah, I don't even have words to describe this person. The Super Ball Flower is better than nothing, of course, it just doesn't function well at all. Number 19, Hammer Bro Suit. In concept, this sounds like a really cool power-up. Mario can throw hammers just like a Hammer Bro. But the problem is aiming is really irritating. It doesn't ruin the power-up, it just makes it way less exciting. But then again, with the trajectory the Hammer Bros throw their hammers, a power-up themed around it is probably bound to be a little clunky. Number 18, Frog Suit. This is another fairly critiqued power-up. The Frog Suit is great for underwater levels, as it increases Mario's speed and makes it much easier to control the direction you move in. For this very reason, I think it should be mandatory that all underwater levels have to let you use this suit. The issue with it is it heavily slows down Mario on land, and makes moving unbelievably awkward. I figured since there can be such a big trade-off with this power-up that I'd rank it a little lower on the list. Number 17, Blue Shell. Everyone speaks so highly of this power-up, but I always found it annoying. Now yes, I do find racing through the level while destroying most of the enemies in your path fun, but there's lots of things that make this power-up feel more of a nuisance than something enjoyable. For me, not being able to easily control where you're going or where you stop is a huge reason not to use this power-up. And on top of that, it's so easy to bonk off a wall and start hurtling back in the other direction. I love the concept of this power-up, I just don't find it works well. Number 16, Elephant Fruit. From here onward is when I start to fully enjoy each of these power-ups. The Elephant Fruit was the main power-up for Mario Wonder, and it does its job very well. It's a fairly basic power-up, but it has some unique characteristics to go with it. The main component of it is you have your trunk to attack enemies, and your overall power is increased. But you can also store water in your trunk to water dead flowers, and who doesn't love the trombone that gets added to the music when you get this power-up? Number 15, Ice Flower. I feel like the Ice Flower is a very underutilized power-up. All you do with it is freeze enemies in place and then leave them to thaw their way out, or you can throw them and watch the mass destruction. It's one of the simpler power-ups, but it's quite iconic as well. Number 14, Fire Flower, the power-up that's used in just about every Mario game. It works exactly the same as the Ice Flower, but I think the simplicity of not having to actually pick up the enemy and throw them afterwards is a lot more practical. But if you really want to, you could interchange these two. Number 13, Penguin Suit. This basically renders the Ice Flower pointless. You can freeze enemies and slide on ice. I figured the ability to slide makes this one objectively better than the Ice Flower and Fire Flower, but again, it all boils down to personal preference. Number 12, Gold Flower. The Gold Flower works the same as the Fire Flower, except there's a much bigger impact upon the gold ball, I guess, hitting stuff. The shockwave even turns bricks into gold. I feel like New Super Mario Bros. 2 should have taken way more advantage of this power-up. It's so satisfying to use, and I think many of the levels would have benefited from it. You can't even take it into other levels with you, cause it turns into a Fire Flower once you touch the flagpole. Number 11, Propeller Mushroom. This was the main power-up of New Super Mario Bros. Wii. I think the Propeller Mushroom is fun to use, but I find only so many levels can utilize it to its full potential. The more small and compact levels like castles or ghost houses can make this power-up a bit unnecessary. But hey, it's never a bad thing to be able to propel upwards on command. Number 10, Drill Mushroom. I find this power-up doesn't manage to be super practical outside of a handful of levels, but it is a joy to use. Drilling yourself into the ground is seamless and makes each level far more enjoyable. While not every level may require it, I think the Drill Mushroom is one of the most handy and delightful power-ups out there. Number 9, Acorn Suit. All the Acorn Suit may do is let you glide alongside increasing your spin jump and letting you hang onto walls for a few seconds, but this power-up comes in handy on so many occasions. You're given a very slow fall and even a boost if you need it. This power-up makes correcting your movement a piece of cake. People may not think of it as one of the best power-ups out there, but I think it 1000% belongs in the top 10. Number 8, Tanuki Leaf. The Tanuki Leaf is very similar to the Acorn Suit, with the main difference being you can spin your tail as an attack, and you can fly for a decent amount of time if you run for long enough. I think these extra abilities can be used very well in lots of levels, making it a bit more useful than the Acorn Suit in my opinion. Number 7, Cape Feather. Pretty much the exact same as the Tanuki Leaf, except holy crap, that's a lot of height. You can pretty much become Superman with this thing and almost skip entire levels. Some people might not like the floaty nature of this power-up, but I mean, look at it! I think it's a fair trade-off, all things considered. Number 6, Tanuki Suit. Of course, it's the same as the Tanuki Leaf, except Mario can turn into a statue to avoid being hit by enemies. This extra feature can be super useful. Number 5, Carrot. Last gliding power-up, I swear. The reason I consider the Carrot to be the most valuable of the gliding power-ups is because you can pretty much glide infinitely if you're good enough at button mashing. The Carrot is super fun, easy to use, and is by far one of the most OP power-ups in any Mario game. Number 4, Bubble Flower. I bet most of you weren't expecting the Bubble Flower to be ranked so well. The reason for it being number 4 on the list is because it's a multi-purpose power-up. You can use it to take out enemies with ease, as well as give you a boost in the air when making a large jump. Of the 3 new power-ups in Mario Wonder, I found this one to be the best by a noticeable amount. Number 3, Mega Mushroom. I personally don't love using the power-ups that are in the top 3 because I see them as being a bit too overpowered. However, this is a list based on the usefulness of each power-up, so it's only fair that I have these 3 ranked at the top. The Mega Mushroom, admittedly, is quite fun to use. There is something gratifying about just destroying literally everything in your path, including the flagpole. Plus, the more you destroy, the more 1-ups you can get. My only issue is with certain levels, the Mega Mushroom can kinda take the fun out of it since all you're doing is destroying what's in your path. There are a lot of levels that won't even let you use the Mega Mushroom because it just wasn't designed for it. But hey, this power-up is still not nearly as powerful as the top 2. Number 2, P-Acorn. Just the Acorn Suit, except you can boost infinitely. This power-up is definitely more useful in certain levels more so than others, but you can easily cheese the game if you use it well. Granted, it doesn't make you invincible, so you do have to be careful not to take damage. But ultimately, I think most would agree that this is one of the most overpowered items in the 2D Mario lineup. However, while I may not prefer to use the P-Acorn or the Mega Mushroom all the time because of how strong they are, At least they have some sort of drawbacks so that you can't just blast through the level with no challenges whatsoever. They're both fun in their own regard, which is more than I can say for number 1 on the list. Number 1, Super Leaf. This is literally just holding up a white flag. In New Super Mario Bros. 2, if you die too many times, you can use this Super Leaf, which is a Tanuki Leaf that makes you invincible. I have never once used this in my entire time playing New Super Mario Bros. 2 because it renders the level pointless. It takes the challenge out of the game completely. But again, this is a list based on the usefulness of each power-up. So considering this power-up lets you glide, fly, and be invincible, it is undeniably number 1 on the list. And that's all the 2D Mario power-ups ranked. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing as it really helps the channel grow and means a lot to me. I'll see you all in the next video, but until then, keep being awesome Nintendo fans.